So I'm going to show you what finished Husband's Delight looks like. Cheesy, got all these noodles, all that yummy sauce. Cannot go wrong. I hope you'll give this recipe a try. Hello my friends, I hope you are having a fabulous day. I am jumping on because I'm going to make a family-friendly recipe. It's a crowd pleaser and you can make it ahead. I'm going to share with you how I prepped this ahead. So right now when I'm putting it together, the hard work is done. This is a recipe that freezes beautifully and everyone loves it. So I call this Husband's Delight. Some people may call it Hamburger Helper. Some people might even call it goulash, although there are a few differences between Husband's Delight and goulash, but so many people make so many recipes that are similar with a tweak here and a tweak there that you might look at this Husband's Delight and say, well, that looks just like goulash that I grew up eating. So basically what you have is you have your ground meat, and then you're going to have a tomato sauce, and then you're going to have a cheese sauce and a pasta. That's it. And I use some convenience items to make this not only easier, but in my opinion, more flavorful. And I'm also going to show you a few of the tools that I use to make this easy. So I'm going to start by sharing you what I prepped ahead. This is the meat. So what I have is, I have a pound of ground, it's either lean ground beef or ground chuck. I have browned it, I seasoned it, and I cooled it off and I put it in this Ziploc bag in the fridge. I did all this 2 days ago. You can brown your meat ahead and refrigerate it for 2 days, or you can freeze it for up to 4 to 5 months. This is breakfast sausage. Breakfast sausage is not my top pick for this. I was going to make a breakfast casserole with this, but then I decided to make Husband's Delight. So I thought I'm just gonna put this with my ground beef. I either use 2 pounds of ground beef or a pound of ground beef and a pound of hot Italian sausage. This is pork sausage. So it just has a different seasoning than it would if I did the hot Italian. And you can mix in as needed. Breakfast sausage, which is still pork sausage. The breakfast seasoning is just different from the hot Italian. But keeping in mind, they're all going to absorb the flavors of all the other ingredients. So it really all equals out to be great. What I have put my ground meat in is the red sauce. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this simmering where all of these flavors will meld, and we're basically making a good meat sauce. So this red sauce, I'm going to show it to you, is made of, and I'm going to put a little water in here. I did a big jar of Rayo's. This is marinara. You can use spicy marinara. You can use your favorite jarred marinara. This is 28 ounces. I'm going to put a little water and shake it to get all of this from the sides of the jar and to add a little liquid. So we're going to pour this in. And then I had some Trader Joe's pizza sauce, which is fantastic. Had about a half a container of this, so I threw it in. So many yummy seasonings. And because I'm sort of doubling this recipe, I'm going to add a can of diced tomatoes, and that's gonna just make it a little more saucy and add some fresh tomatoes. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going to simmer this. That smells so good. And because the marinara and the pizza sauce already have a lot of seasonings, and the meat itself, I seasoned it as I browned it. I used Costa-Rina EVOO, Redmond's Real Salt, pepper. I did some garlic powder, garlic salt. So everything is really seasoned. That's why you're not seeing me throw in a lot of seasonings into this. You're just seeing me put this all together, bring it to a simmer, and then the meat, which is already cooked, it's going to start softening. It will release some of the seasonings that are cooked into it. It will render a little more fat. So everything is just melding together on a low simmer. Y'all look at that. One of my grandbabies, my daughter made ornaments of her face. So now we're gonna talk about, while the meat sauce is cooking, we're gonna talk about the cheese sauce. This, my version, has cottage cheese and sour cream. This is similar in some ways to a lasagna or a baked ziti, but you do not have to puree or get rid of your curds and your cottage cheese. I just think if there's one person who is put off by curds, it's better to blend it. So I have a lot of people coming over for this, so I'm gonna go ahead and take my immersion blender. So cottage cheese and sour cream. This is one reason I love my immersion blender. Look how easy. I don't have to get out a mixer. I don't have to mess up the Vitamix. I just do this. Up and down. It's gonna make it as smooth. It's gonna all look like sour cream. This is actually fun. I'm just pressing the button. If you don't have an immersion blender, it's one of those things, in my opinion, that you don't know you need it until you've used it once or twice, and then you don't know how you ever lived without it. And that's how you just push a button and this comes off. You get a little spatula. Actually, I'm just gonna get a knife, and I'm gonna show you all how creamy and delicious. Okay, so guys, look. Sour cream and cottage cheese, smooth as silk. At this stage of my life, this is the main reason, or the most often reason, that I use an immersion blender, is because we put cottage cheese in almost everything. I almost substitute any recipe that calls for sour cream. I'll do at least half cottage cheese because that helps us get our protein goals, and cottage cheese adds huge flavor. It's rich, and if you don't know that you're eating cottage cheese, you just think, ooh, this is just really rich and good. So, but it's loaded with protein. So here's this sauce. So I've got the red sauce, the pizza sauce marinara, simmering with the ground meat. I'm gonna show you all. So this is the basis. So look how yummy that is, okay? Then we've got our white cheese. We've also got some egg noodles. You can use macaroni noodles. I could not find my macaroni noodles, so I'm using egg noodles. Egg noodles are fabulous. They're both great. It's just personal preference or what you have on hand. And I'm also going to use some grated cheddar. It would be better if I grated a block of cheddar myself, but I do not have time today, and I don't even know if I have a block of cheddar. So this is good. This is Sargento extra sharp. I always get extra or extra sharp. And you might say that's a lot of cheese. Well, this is Husband's Delight. That's why it's Husband's Delight, because they always want more cheese. So now what I want you to do is get a bowl. I got one where you all can see, and I mix my noodles with the sour cream, and I'm going to tell you why. And I'm not going to use all this pasta because we really don't need it all. I added more. This only calls for like 8 ounces, and I threw in more. We don't need all that. We're just going to use that much. So here is the pasta. Whether you use this or macaroni pasta, you want to cook it till it's al dente, which means firm to the tooth. So when I chew into that, there's a little bit of bite back, a little bit of resistance, but not much, because this will continue cooking in the dish and you do not want it to be too overdone. So I have this. I'm going to move this right here. I'm going to mix all of the cottage cheese and sour cream with the noodles. This is going to keep the noodles moist, and it's just going to make this more cohesive. If you were one of my regular Instagram peeps who sees me cook all the time, you would know that this is next. I'm not stirring this together with this. I love using my hands because I want to show you why. Look how easy it is to get all of this coated. It's so easy. I love using my hands, just like this. And guys, there's no tool you can buy that makes it easier than using your hands. You can feel everything, you can give it a squeeze, and it's that easy. Now, that easy to take it off and discard it. I'm going to move this here, and I'm going to spray the pan. with avocado oil. Okay, my friends, my battery ran out. Okay, so it's so easy. I've just sprayed my pan. This is like a 9x13. You can use any rectangular, like lasagna size baking dish. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put the pasta with the cheese on the bottom. This is gonna be like our crust. I'm gonna get all of this cheese. And if you make this like the crust and you put the meat sauce on top, the pasta will be more moist and it will envelop this. If this pasta were at the top when you baked it, it would get crispy and it might dry out. So this is our crust. And now we are taking our meat sauce and we are just going to pour it over. I may have a little more than I need, so I'm pouring it over and I'm spreading it out just like this. So yes, I'm not gonna add the rest, and I'm sort of going to do this. Can y'all see where I'm just sort of making I'm pushing all the way to the bottom, and that's allowing it to make little channels where some of the meat sauce goes in between, and it just sort of, I'm not really stirring, I'm just distributing all of this where everything gets coated in this sauce. There is that. Now, I'm going to top it with the cheese. Because we are topping this with cheese, and not just this recipe, but anytime I top a casserole with cheese, whether I'm making ziti or lasagna, I always cover it with foil loosely, but you just want to cover it where it will steam cook instead of just outright bake. Because if you outright bake this for 35-40 minutes, the cheese is going to cook more quickly than the inside, and everything is technically cooked except you want it to meld together. The sour cream and cottage cheese, you could eat those. They're gonna meld and everything's gonna blend together. I cover it, and I'll show you how I cover it, how loosely. And then I remove the foil about the last probably 10-15 minutes to let it get golden and bubbly. Now I'm gonna put a little Parmesan. You can change your cheeses and you can experiment. This is a no-fill recipe. Okay, so here we go. Our Reynolds Drought, our aluminum foil. And I'm gonna give you all I call it a tip, but to me it's a rule. Always get heavy duty and always get the long. I think anytime you get the heavy duty, it's gonna be the wider. It's thick, it's wide enough to cover any casserole. Don't ever get those short, regular aluminum foils. They're flimsy, and a lot of times they will not cover a wide casserole dish, so you have to double pull and use more. So this is my tip. Always get a heavy duty roll, the biggest you can find. So I've just put it over the top, and you can see I'm just pressing it to the side. I'm not going crazy. I'm just making an oven. A little oven. When the heat surrounds it, it's going to trap the steam inside, and the casserole will steam, and steam cooking is the best way to cook. I have a Wolf Sub-Zero steam oven, and it's next level. You can make your own steam oven by covering something in foil and trapping the steam. That is it. I made my meat ahead 2 days ago, and it's been in the fridge, and I pulled it out. I poured my marinara and some pizza sauce, threw in a can of tomatoes just because I added more meat and noodles than I'm trying to sort of make it bigger. You do not have to add those canned diced tomatoes. You can just use the sauce. And then I did my egg noodles. You can also do macaroni noodles with the sour cream cottage cheese that I blended with an immersion blender, so it's smooth and creamy. Coated all those noodles in that yummy cottage cheese sour cream sauce. That was my crust. Topped it with meat, finished with cheese, and now it's ready for the oven. Friends, I want to tell you, if you're making this will serve, I would say, easily 8 to 10 people because it's very hearty. If you want to do everything that I've done and you want to serve it the next day, that's perfectly fine. If you're doing that, don't go put it in the oven and then reheat it. If you're going to make it a day ahead, go ahead and put it in the fridge like this, unbaked. And then about a couple of hours before your guests arrive, take it out, let it sit at room temp for about 30 minutes to take the chill off. And then you want to put it in the preheated oven, covered like this, and bake it. And then you just let it sit. You want to uncover at the very last 10 to 15 minutes for the cheese, but then you want to put your foil back over and either put it in a warming drawer or keep it in a warm place until your guests arrive. It'll be better that way than if you cook it and reheat it. It'll be more fresh tasting. You can also put this in, don't need this amount. You can divide this and put half of this into a freezer to oven to table safe dish. And if I did that, if I were gonna freeze it, I would go ahead and bake it and then freeze it, and then when you pull it out of the freezer, it's ready to just heat through and eat. So I hope this was helpful. If you make this, let me know. I love sharing all of the tips with you all. And if you like my channel, I hope you'll subscribe. And as always, I appreciate you so much. And until next time, be blessed and stay savvy.